Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John. This is my submission for the Organizational Behavior Video Integrated Essay. Just a little bit about myself. I am a Florida native, but I went up to Philadelphia to go to school at the University of Pennsylvania for my undergrad in environmental science. Since then, I've been working professionally with animals for about 6 years now, starting with an internship out in Hawaii on the island of Oahu at a place called Sea Life Park. It's led to a full-time position about 6 months later, in which I worked for 2 years and then got a very similar position in the Miami Seaquarium, and that made me move my life back to Miami. So when I was in Miami, I got motivated to go back to school, and I also decided to switch experiences in terms of the animals that I worked with to gain more knowledge in the field of animal husbandry and management. This was obviously to pursue an ultimate goal of eventually being able to run my own animal facility. That's really all I want. Now the next part of the assignment was to assess the Strength Finder's assessment of ourselves, which I found to be surprisingly strong. The 5 top choices they had for me were achiever, woo, learner, competition, and focus. In that order, achiever meaning hardworking, taking pride in being busy, being very productive, working long hours, and that describes me to a T. I mean, I put in probably 70 to 80 hours a week, every week, and I enjoy doing things like that. Woo, people pleaser, engaging in discussions, enjoying relationships professionally and personally with people, expecting, hopefully getting the same things out of them. It's something that's very true to me. Learner, obviously being in school again. I actually want to go back after I get this degree and get a PhD. Competition, I've been competitive since day one, sports as a kid, all the way through school with grades, into college, swimming, and then again, once I got into this career, I've been competing for positions ever since. And focus leads to accomplishment, a lot of logical decision making, which is very applicable to my job. It's a very realistic way to think, and it definitely describes a lot of my thought process. Now, as far as the personal assessment portion of this assignment, if I was to evaluate how they did, I would agree completely with the 5 choices. The only switch I would make would be the order. I would move focus higher to the top from number 5 to the 2nd position, just because of my position. My whole lifestyle has revolved around detail-oriented decisions. Like I said earlier, logical decision-making, it's really all you can rely on, especially in the field I'm in, working with animals. You have to make very precise decisions, and it's something that I have to work with and apply every day. So, like I said, I'd just move that up a little bit. And then I'd also add in probably the passion. I mean, I love my job, and hopefully a lot of people can say that, but what I hear is most people can't. And then I would add also patience and respect. That's 2 things that I've learned working with people, animals, kids, everybody, and everything, just to develop the relationship and to really advance further with everyone. Patience and respect, I've learned, is a key, 2 key factors. As far as to how I'm going to build on these strengths of mine in the short term, first of all, I'm going to continue to apply them day to day. I finish school. Acquire the knowledge from the learning process of that, which will also add to my resume and ultimately increase my value professionally and personally. Then in the long term, I'm going to continue to drive towards my goal of what I mentioned earlier of opening my own animal facility, which means completing the business plan, raising money, breaking ground hopefully very soon, and then as soon as that business is established, continue to use these strengths to not falter and not forget what I wanted to start in the first place. Now, the concepts that I found most useful from the course were the ones I found most applicable in my life, which ultimately were the fundamentals of conditioning. Because of my position as an animal trainer, I'm constantly working with operant and classical conditioning and positive reinforcement as well. And this is what I've been doing for 6 years now, every day, all day. And it's something that in business school learning about it excited me, because I know I can do that moving forward with the company that I'd like to start, and in a management style that I would like to have would involve some of the same theory and a lot of the same practices that I've already been doing with the animals. Now, I believe that the most effective methods of motivation involve, first of all, open communication. Simply providing a platform for someone can go a long way. The next would be feedback and reinforcement in accordance with their performance in terms of evaluations. And then another one, a very important aspect of everyone's career, is the opportunity to move forward or move up, especially as you progress more and more. Time goes on, and you're going to want that opportunity to advance in your field. That's it for that one, I think. Now, I think the most important team leadership concepts, number one, lead by example. It's important for your entire staff to know that you have been there, done that, you will do that, and you're not asking them to do anything you either haven't done yourself or wouldn't do yourself. Now, the next thing on the list is going to be to take initiative, which is going to be the same kind of person that's leading by example, is going to be the one to take initiative and get things done and do all those things that need to be done in order to get through the day. And then ultimately, the leader needs to remain professional. It's very important for your boss to keep that separation between himself or herself and their employees. And a lot of times, no matter how good a boss could be, sometimes that they falter in that area, and I think that's one of the major keys that gets overlooked sometimes. Overcoming resistance to change. This can be very, very tricky. I actually experienced a lot of this at my last job, and it ended terribly. My fault as well as their fault, honestly. It was a learning experience in the long run. I had to take a step back to see what I couldn't see from within the situation. A lot of people do have a lot of resistance to change, and it's because a lot of times when you show people different ways to do things or show them anything or try to change something, that means you're adjusting the system, and that's the system they used, and that could be the system that they made. So a lot of times they tend to take it personally, and so that brings in a whole emotional aspect to everything. So like I said, you really need to be treading lightly and take small steps, especially if you value your position, because no management, if you don't have the power to just overhaul everything, then like I said, you're going to need to work slow and steady would probably win the race on that one. Well, this concludes my video presentation. I'd like to thank you guys very much for your time, and I look forward to watching your videos as well. Once again, thank you very much.